attended the May Planning and Zoning Commission meeting here in Van Alstyne, and I want to break it all down for you in plain English because what happens in that room shapes what the city looks like 5, 10 years from now. And trust me, this one was a big deal. Hey, I'm Crystal DeBacker with eXp Realty, and I pride myself in being the true local expert for this community. If I can ever be a resource for you, whether real estate or just knowing what's going on in our city, please reach out. Okay, let's get into it. Before we get into the main event, the president of the board recognized the Planning and Zoning Board for all the hard work they've put into the comprehensive plan process. It was a small moment, but a genuine one. This commission doesn't always agree on everything, and Dr. Spies said it so out loud, but he also said their differences made the final product better, and that's exactly how it's supposed to work. Now, let's get into it. Okay, this is the big one, and it's been building for over a year. The Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing on a request to rezone a 176.7-acre tract of land just east of Hackberry Road on the north side of 121, right next to the Thompson Farms neighborhood, as a planned development with underlying zoning of SF65. The developer is Skorberg Company out of Dallas, and they're calling the project Solara. This rezoning request is tied directly to a request to voluntarily annex this land into the Van Alstyne city limits. Right now, this land is in Grayson County, outside of city limits. If Van Alstyne doesn't annex it, a developer could come in through a MUD or a municipal utility district with the state's blessing and put in 40-foot lots, and the city has zero control. That's the reality on the ground in Texas right now. Skorberg Company has been working with the city since early 2025. They've been to planning and zoning and city council roughly 8 times. The original plan had 40-foot lots and nearly 4 units per acre, but through round and round of feedback, this is what Solara looks like today. 453 total lots, 3 types: executive, which are 50-foot lots, there'll be 196 of those; estate lots, those are 60-foot lots, there'll be 133 of those lots; and signature lots, there'll be 70-foot lots, and there's going to be a total of 124 of those lots. This is 2.57 units per acre overall, which is lower than Thompson Farms, lower than Mantua, and lower than Lone Tree. There will be no 40-foot lots. That was eliminated entirely after community feedback. 80% masonry on all homes. This is well above the city standard of 60% requirement. Each home must incorporate at least 5 of 16 architectural elements, things like bay windows, front porch columns, dormers, balconies, sconce lighting, and wood-clad garage doors. So this is to eliminate cookie-cutter neighborhoods. A divided boulevard entry with a landscaped median running through the development. An 8.7-acre public city park dedicated to Van Alstyne, designed collaboratively with the city's park board. 48.1 acres of amenitized open space. This includes floodplain areas throughout the development. 48.1 acres of amenitized open space. Over 10,000 linear feet of concrete trails. These will be 6 foot wide with at least 3,000 feet built in phase 1, connecting the existing Thompson Farms trail system. A primary amenity center with a pool, bathrooms, parking. This is required to be built before the 201st home permit is issued. A secondary amenity area north of Willow Lane with options like a fishing dock, playground, outdoor workout equipment, and a pavilion. A 12-inch water line loop connecting Solara and Thompson Farms to the existing water tower on FM 121. This creates a redundant water supply that benefits existing neighbors too. Hackberry Road improvements, at a minimum resurfacing and reconstruction with asphalt from FM 121 to the subdivision connection point. Concrete is the goal if Grayson County participates in the TERS, and those conversations are ongoing. Upgraded lift station and force main sized to serve future development along FM 121 corridor, not just this project. The development also includes a PID, which is a public improvement district, and a TERS, which is a tax increment reinvestment zone. This is structured financing tools that let a portion of future tax revenue fund the infrastructure without placing that burden on existing Van Alstyne taxpayers. Okay, I want to spend some time on the public hearing portion because the community really showed up for this. Multiple neighbors from Hackberry Road, Willow Lane, and the surrounding area spoke up, and their concerns were legitimate. Here's what the room was saying. They were concerned about the traffic on Hackberry. Super reasonable. We know that road is not a big road. It's a rural country road. There's no shoulders, no street lights. That's a real stress for people that live in that area. Density. we all understand no one's wanting to see additional density come to Van Alstyne. Light pollution, a neighbor right on the edge of the development pointed out the dark skies and why people live out there. Hundreds of streetlights from a new subdivision would change that permanently. Drainage and runoff, landowners with tanks and low-lying property raised concerns about what happens when 176 acres gets graded and developed. The developer addressed it. Detention and retention ponds are required by engineering standards, and runoff cannot legally exceed pre-development levels. But residents have seen it go wrong before, and that concern is also valid. One resident summed it up very well. She talked about growing up in Plano and Frisco and watching that transform, and she said her and her husband chose to live in Van Alstyne intentionally because it wasn't that. I think most of us can all completely relate to that. She asked the commission to fight for what makes this place different. The commission chairman's response was measured and honest. He acknowledged every concern, agreed the community deserves a thoughtful development, and then laid out the mud reality plainly. If the city walks away from this, a developer doesn't need the city's permission to build something with 40-foot lots. No parks, no trails, no masonry standards, and no dark sky lighting. That's the trade-off Van Alstyne is navigating right now. After the public hearing was closed, the commission went to work. They came out with 4 specific conditions tied to their approval recommendation. Here's what they locked in. Total lots cannot exceed 453. No padding the numbers after approval, which we've also seen those developments come back time and time again asking to change the site plan because something came up in engineering. They're not having it. No padding the numbers after approval. Lots cannot exceed 453. Minimum of 124 of those signature lots, which are the 70-foot lots, must be maintained. This is protecting that larger lot count the commission fought for over the last year. Estate lots, which are the 60-foot lots, cannot decrease by more than 10%, which is preventing that quiet shift towards the smaller lots post-approval. Dark sky compliant street lighting is required throughout the development, a direct, on-the-record response to what neighbors said in the public hearing. This was approved 4-1. This is a recommendation to City Council, not a final vote. The final decision happens on June 9th when City Council holds its own public hearing before any vote is taken. Okay, after Solara wrapped up, the commission held a second public hearing on something that's been 2 years in the making, Van Alstyne's Comprehensive Plan 2035. Here's a little context most people don't know. Van Alstyne has been making decisions off a plan written in 2003. That's over 20 years old. The city looks completely different today than it did then, and a plan that old simply cannot account for where we are now or where we're going. This new plan was funded through a grant from the Texas General Lands Office Resilient Communities Program, managed by a consulting firm called Public Management, Inc., and built through 3 town halls and a citywide survey. It covers 12 chapters, which include land use, housing, transportation, economic development, water, wastewater, storm drainage, resiliency measures, and more. It's comprehensive in the truest sense. The commission voted unanimously to recommend City Council adopt the plan. Here's what makes it more than just a document. Once adopted, this plan has teeth. Staff will rewrite city ordinances and operational procedures to align with it. Any future development request, any rezoning, any annexation, any new project gets evaluated against this plan. And several downtown property owners have already agreed to hold their proposals until it passes so they can build what the community actually wants. That kind of cooperation doesn't happen by accident. This was approved unanimously and heads to City Council also on June 9th. And that's your recap for the May 19th Van Alstyne Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. A packed room, real community voices, and 2 decisions that will shape what Van Alstyne looks like for the next decade. If you have questions about any of these items, or if you're thinking about buying or selling in Van Alstyne and want to work with someone who truly knows the city inside and out, I'm Crystal DeBacker with eXp Realty, and I'm here for you. Drop a comment, send a message, or click the link below. I'd love to connect, and I'll keep you updated.